RB20.
Let's say, okay,
I knew what you were going to do.
you're at the 505.
I know what you're
You're at the 505. Well, Ken Walker is there. So is James Conner.
Oh, baby.
So,
I told you.
so Walker value is there. You're taking James Conner a couple spots over ADP. And I guess they both
If I
have
would show upside, I want to take Fitzpatrick. And if I want to know that I'm getting really reliable numbers every week, I'm going to take James.
Okay, so
I think of both
which do you
of
want?
them.
So which do you want? Get a vacuum.
In a vacuum, with no other context,
No other context. Just
I'm really just trying to drag this out. James Conner.
okay. I do expect Trey Benson to get on the field a bit more this year. Like, while we were all
Better be better on the field when it's out there.
well, the disappointment I think by the draft community and dynasty Twitter, I think that our disappointment did not match what the actual the Arizona Cardinals felt. I mean, he was 4.6 carry.
Let me give you two big questions for the Cardinals.
Okay.
Number one, will Kyler Murray be able to every week fantasy stuff?
I think he will be.
Okay, I would probably lean on the yes side. Which again, don't hear what us Phoenicians are not saying. It doesn't mean he's going to be the best quarterback, but he's proven that he can finish, in the top 10 4 times in 6 years. And I think there's a lot to like about the offense.
Yeah, and also there were some quotes, and this is great because it wasn't coming from a coach or a beat reporter. This was coming from Kyler Murray's mouth when he was being interviewed. How he was watching the quarterbacks, and he realized how valuable the running of Lamar Jackson is for the running game. I mean, you saw what Derrick Henry did with stacked boxes because they had the threat of Lamar Jackson. And so he was talking about how he really needs to add more to his running game. And that is a beautiful thing. That is how his fantasy goodness will happen. And we agree. And this is not saying he's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Probably not one of the ceiling.
But I don't think he's going to be all the way down in the streaming category.
Okay.
So,
Mike, are you trying to do this every week? Sorry, you getting late and you feel like you can lock it in?
I think so. We probably ought to go the route. But will this surprise you? No. That was the second highest rushing yards total categories for yours. Yeah, that surprises me. It does.
I think it surprised me when I didn't see it. Because I think we have been there were so many games with the Cardinals. Well, the storyline of the Cardinals, for those that watch intently, which is us, make fun of you, was that the Cardinals were Jekyll and Hyde. There were games like the Rams game, where they were a dominant football team that was, blowing people up. And then there were games where Kyler Murray would begin the game looking like, like he's throwing with the wrong hand. And he would end the game looking at it. He didn't really change. So he made it very frustrating to deal with. He is a very talented passer that gets hot and gets cold, and that's a complication. So right now he's the QB 10 of the board in the 8th round. You don't have to pay a lot for it. If you buy him into the season, that's fine.
You like Mark?
That's the last question. Is you buy him in as a value now when he sits in the late third, early fourth, wide receiver 17, outside that top 12 expectation. For me, I lean on that, but I don't blame people for being frustrated.
I think the biggest question, if we had one question that we could get the answer to for sure before the season, that would tell us the fantasy football pecking order here, is who is the number one target? Does Martin Harrison Jr. become the number one target over Trey McBride? Or is Martin Harrison Jr. the number 2 target behind Trey McBride? That's real, because if it's still McBride as the one, which last year it was like target-wise, Trey McBride is the number 1 wide receiver for this team at the tight end spot, and Mark Trent way behind it, but he was a rookie. Does that flip?
It doesn't flip, no. I think that would be a crazy expectation.
You still think that Trey McBride has more chance?
I care less about 1-2 as much as the gap between that two. It was extreme last year. Lamar needs to be a regular target monster in the passing game. not this guy that sometimes works down the field to get Trent McBride open. I think McBride will have more targets.
Yeah.
But I think that Marvin Harrison can progress enough, and he's coming a lot of weight, and the Cardinals don't have a lot of other weapons. They have high expectations. I mean, despite all the disclaimer for fantasy, there's almost 6 rookie wide receivers in the last decade to be up to over 880 yards and 8 touchdowns. He just came 2 and 3.
Yeah, happened against the Rams.
So, but I think he can definitely deliver on the wide receiver 17 drop value if it just goes up.
I am ADP wise, I think I'm pretty nervous about both Marv and Trey McBride. Trey McBride's going to be a stud. He's going to be a top 3 tight end. I believe that at the end of the year. The issue with him is that George Kittle, even if he's going in the 4th, I'd rather take George Kittle in the 3rd. Like,
I think I'll
an
wait
entire
with
round, and take him and get just a different second round pick.
It's very expensive.
McBride and Marv is it might work, but he feels scared.
Last year we talked about the Rams that 70% of their team's market share going to wideouts. Cardinals were 48%. Which with the running backs got 18%, where the Rams I think were at 10. And again, 44% of Trey McBride. I mean, 48% is not going to be the number that this season is. And I think if McBride out targets him, but that number gets to 60%, we're going to be happy with him. I think he's one of the better bets at double-digit touchdowns than White.
Yep.
And you're sitting there, I don't know where you stand.
It's a really tough decision to know whether or not he's going to go target monster or not. This is a guy who had over 116 targets last year, and he was the wide receiver. He was the offensive drafted to be the one, and he was the one last year. Like from week 1, Arizona he is our primary wide receiver, and he still didn't have 116 targets. So there's got to be some development there. I personally have him right about. I've got him in my top 15 wide receivers, so I'm fine taking this out of them there. But it's scary.
The big boys are going to chase 170.
Oh my god.
Raiders at 170.
That was shit.
CB last year was going to crack at 150. McBride was at 147.
Yeah, we got to get him.
So we've got to get, Jameson at 137. See, that got to get to 130, 140. You get DJ Moore. Oh my gosh, only have 140. So that's the 140 with invisible targets.
Easy 2 targets.
Oh my gosh, that's a shocker. But you're trading for me how many targets. Oh, that's 3.
I almost dropped back when we were doing the
Sorry,
just
yeah.
draft. I didn't even want to say it.
Trevor Coleman was at 117. Now you understand people. Like, we were trying to trash Trevor Coleman. He had the same target total as Marvin Harrison.
14 touchdowns. So this is my contention, is that I don't think where Trent McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going, I don't think both are going to be different. Like, dude, so that's where I want to go.
I think I'm in on it.
Who is, so if you're in on Marvin,
I think you can go.
I think Trey McBride has to come. If Marv's up at 140 targets,
McBride can come down as 25 as he was scoring. He could have the same season, but he scores 8 times and he has 128 targets. That's right. All right, we go one more team. And we don't normally talk about them last, but we go in order of how they finish it.
last place, losers.
The 49ers.
No 49ers here.
What's that?
Screen. Keep it here. Look at that face. That face is sad. Oh, man. That is a 49er face if I've ever seen one.
Because we not lean on that level of confidence or lack thereof. I think it's going to be.
It's going to be even a clear throat redo it. Even red. Mad high.
He knocked out. Oh, man, legendary. They were 6 and 11, so that's what we're talking about. And then 11.5 point, or 11.5 win total last year. They won 6 games. It was rough. They lost 7 of their last 8. If you look at the history of Shanahan, it's kind of been all or nothing. They've had
It's very Mike Brown.
6-10. Oh, yeah, this is the Mike Brown. Oh, that makes sense. The CNC one.
win the Super Zach twice.
It's like a,
We got to see the both the team. And right now, they're projected to be a 10.5-win team. They've got the easiest, literally the easiest strength of schedule for 2025.
yeah, I mean, it starts here with New Orleans, Arizona, Jacksonville.
But they've also lost.
It's set up for it. They lost
They've
a lot of pieces. You know, on the offensive side, Debo has been a stalwart there. He's gone. He's 16% of the targets. And then more Elijah Mitchell and your depth chart. But they lost a lot of defensive starters. That's where, you know, maybe there's more fantasy goodness to be had than you would expect.
The lack of defense, which has always been dominant for the 49ers, recently at least, and the lack of a difficult schedule. When I see those two things coming together, I shake my head and go, Chris McCaffrey's going to be the
That is, I was going to say, like, the amount of injuries they have at wide receiver right now, it's like the universe is telling them, in the face of nights, like, in games and what they're like, for McCaffrey. It's just, they just keep taking away all the other pieces so that I have nowhere else to look. But like Kittle, he does get hurt a lot, and McCaffrey, he does get hurt a lot.
Yeah, I was telling Mike earlier today, I think Kittle's the best pick in the record. He's just
How is he not? How is he not right now? How is he not? That's almost like, it's like, as of right now, you should have something. You should have something.
yeah, I agree. And you should because there's only one of him in the third round, or the fourth round. Yeah, other people have the same thing. Exactly. And so it's like, if you pass on those two guys, you gotta kind of hold your breath and just hope you get who falls to you. You know what I mean? It's just kind of out of your hands.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a risk to Kittle's presence. It's still a risk taking this title with that high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes it really interesting, even though those titles will be filled. They are favored in, the 49ers were favored in 15 of 17 games. So they got a fourth place schedule. And
You get some games against Chicago, the Giants,
Carolina,
the Browns.
Indy, Tennessee, New Orleans,
Jacksonville,
Jacksonville.
play the game, man.
Oh, you're missing all of nothing.
Yeah, they went, hey, guys, we can get fourth place special next year. It's not happening.
They have the third highest two-and-fight totals in 2024. So, you know, if you want to kind of understand the nuance to, you know, maybe Mike's likely
Jesus Christ.
not typical UFC and putting it at number one, where I think he's, what's his ADP right now? 38 or something?
He's still to a six. I think about McCaffrey, like, what I am going to really enjoy this year is that it's not just people who draft Christian McCaffrey who are in on watching him every week. Every running back selected in front of Christian McCaffrey this year, you'll be sitting and watching it. If your guy gets hurt, you're going to lose your money. Or if Christian McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, you're going to lose your money. Because if McCaffrey gets hurt, he outproduces your money. And then the same thing, you draft McCaffrey, everyone after, you're like, I knew it. I knew he was going to do that.
That's the presupposition. The presupposition is not,
He's so fun.
the presupposition is that McCaffrey, when healthy, produces in your mind more on a per basis than going down.
Yes. And then gets more touches too.
If you presume that, if you lock that in your guarantee, what hell is it? 28. So if you presume that, because I've seen the comments, dude. I've seen the reactions, I've seen the comments, I've seen the vitriol motion that comes along with the caption. Basically, every other comment is, I wouldn't touch him on the comfort call.
That for Alex, every time we bring him up, he's like, no, he's going to get hurt. I won't practice.
He's discounted for McCaffrey, but he's not priced in a place where he's not your first round pick. And because of that, you are making the decision to take him ahead of very, very big names. So that proposition you're talking about, right? If you are, like, it was thought if you take a safer presumed name in Jacobs, and Jacobs plays 17 and McCaffrey plays 17, and McCaffrey will probably outpace Jacobs. He will 100%. Because of the pass catch. And people need to remember that about Christian McCaffrey. It's just, it isn't a general health, because it was so disruptive. It wasn't a mid-season injury. It was a preseason. We thought he'd be back. Then he wasn't. Then it's a mid-season injury. And You burned every part of your season.
Just willing to be wrong. Jason, I got a question about which way does this shift the paradigm? Christian McCaffrey has been working out all offseason with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
So the man of glass versus the guy who is
Oh my gosh, that was so bad for Bijan.
that's what I get out of that. Does it make you more run Bijan or more confident? More confident.
The man of steel versus the man of glass.
More confident. The man is worth it. That's probably going to be the running back going right back to it this season.
We
But like a simple person, and you're kind of not in on Christian McCaffrey.
he's at 8. Yeah.
Right where he is in within the running back rankings. I don't like anyone. The entire first round. I mean, he's in the second round, so that means every single team, every single league on average bypasses Christian McCaffrey. Right? That's just a fact. If he is in the second round and I'm picking, I mean, that is an auto selection for me. If I get a first round pick plus Christian McCaffrey, I'm not going to play that scared. Vegas is not scared of this team. The vacated targets, all the wide receiver question marks, we've seen the research in the past where vacated targets go not necessarily to the newly incoming wide receivers, but when teams have a lot of turnover there, there's more passing to the running backs. And so
I just feel like we could talk in circles over this situation because it's never going to come down to you and I for capability. Like, it is what it is.
no, it is.
McCaffrey,
He's played.
That's the ultimate mention. Last year was an example. Like, we talked about Saquon and if you go over 350, the last 10 running backs that go over 350 yards, 350 opportunities, they 2 of the 10, like most of them get hurt. Like a lot of them either been hurt or lacked production to a great degree. He was another one of those. He was 355 opportunities in San Francisco and 352 the year before. Like, and he did that. That's what happened in Carolina. He had 428 opportunities in 2019, out for the year. 355, out for the year.
How do you do when he got back?
Well, when he got back from injury, he also missed the entire season again for Carolina. Oh, when he missed the second time? Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying.
He was the running back one. I'm just saying his legs are fresh. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he's fresh legs.
I don't. If the injury is different than Achilles season or genuine, which, look, that is not something that you can just say you feel the rest of your life. This is not an ACL repair which you go in your skin. Like, he thought he was back last year. He thought he'd be back. That's part of the story. He believed something about his own body last year that was not true. So for me, that's part of the equation was as you age, the math changes. His total volume, he may be 28, which is still low for a running back. 29, still low for a running back. But his workloads, 400 plus, 350 plus, 350 plus, plus the passing game, it does. The wear and tear adds up. And I don't know how they're going to utilize it exactly. I don't know if this easy schedule means that they'll try to do it. I don't know. But I think I'm comfortable drafting him at 80 is all I'm saying. And there's tremendous upside.
Yeah, the final thing else could be,
And Jason's trying so hard to be fully riding your trainer. If you're trained and he is now...
and that's all, if you can ride my skill train, I will ride your Christian McCaffrey train. You're right. If you don't ride the last thing I'll say is, it's, the thing about rankings is difficult. If you like, when you're having one, like if you have the first overall pick, you take McCaffrey, you take him over Bijan and Barkley. That, I have McCaffrey ranked number 1. That's a really difficult decision to even make that happen. But that's what my projections are.
Yeah, I mean, he's the single hardest player that I think I've ever seen in fantasy because 3 out of the last 5 years he were devastating.
And he would have done you
And 2 of them you won the chance. I mean, what do you do? What do you do if 3 times you won to go? Yeah. The Vanderbilt, we've already talked about Teal. The wide receiver room right now looks like Juwan Jennings has the inside track on being the most relevant wide receiver for maybe a while to start the season. Here's already involved. Maybe not come back for a long time, maybe traded. And Brock Purdy, it's hard to get Brock Purdy without Ayuk and without Debo, who we have for a
Samuel is not being drafted as the number one tight end. Chris McCaffrey is no longer in the first round. The wide receiver for the Steelers is in double-digit rounds. No one is being seen as a great prospect here from an average draft position standpoint, and yet they have the third highest team implied totals. Meaning that number means Vegas is expecting them to score the third most amount of points in the NFL.
And that's their favorite one.
Yeah, so when those two things are both true, which they are, I'm in.
And BMW wide receiver. I will.
Yeah, I said it earlier. The show where those two and Brandon might be. Yes, so no.
We need to go into this episode.
James Enrique Pearsall.
Give me the division.
Go ahead, dude.
Give me the division because I'm going to take an hour.
Oh, man. I am going to go Rams, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm going to go, whatever, let's say Arizona, San Francisco, Rams, Seahawks.
San Francisco, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks. So we have different projections there. So right now the odds have San Francisco solidly above the Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks are tied projections for the division. And let's see. Mailbag episode coming up. Unsolved Mysteries episode coming up. Another mock draft coming up in 5 shows a week. Right around the corner. There you go. Divisional breakdown episodes are over. We did it. We got through
Every team.
we filled nearly every fan base, and we get to talk about some other stuff moving forward. And a lot more camp highlights along the way. So that is all for today's show. Matt, what are we doing now? Also, talk louder. Oh, baby.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers.
Thank you.